So basically, we're now going to have a look at query tables. This was a requested video. This is in paper 2, and usually it is the last question. Today we're going to be having a look at how to fill these query tables, and we're just going to straight on go with how to do these questions, because that's how you can understand the best. So basically, query tables is just simply a presentation of data in form of a table, and in computer science you just simply have to record these data in separate query tables, or you're supposed to set primary keys. You're supposed to maybe mention the number of a certain sort of data, and that's all you just need to have to know in query tables. So here we have an example, okay, and it tells us a library uses a database table, okay, and it is used to keep a record of the number of books it has in each genre. So we have this basically a table. This is called a query table, and it's telling us state the reason ID be used as a primary key. So the main keyword right here is a primary key. Okay, so these questions are very common. A primary key. So what does it mean by a primary key? Now, primary keys are simply just unique data that if I say, for example, HFU, okay, or something like HFN or something like that, you will immediately know, yes, it is that sort of genre. So it's basically a unique number that cannot be is unique to its genre. Okay, so we're looking at something like that, and if you can see this one right here, the ID number, if you have noticed, the ID number is the same, is different for each and every one of them. If you can see, they're different for all of them, and therefore that will be a good fit for a primary key. Okay, so the first one, a primary key, for these types of questions, you're just having a look at something that is unique in each of the column. That's what you have to have a look at, and in this case you can see that ID is different for all of them, and you can confirm by seeing each and every ID number, they all are different. So that's the primary key. So for the answer for the first one, you simply write why it is an ID is because it is unique. Okay, that is the reason, because it is unique, and there is only they all have different sort of codes, and that's why I can identify them. So what I can write in this is I can say, let's write it here, the data in the ID is unique. That will give you the 1 mark. So the main keyword here is it is unique, and therefore the ID is unique. It says state the number of records in the genre. So what this basically means, when it's telling you the number of records, okay, number of records is all this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So you can see the answer is 18 number of records. It's as simple as that. There are 18 number of records. Okay, we move on to the next question. Now here is the query by example grid. Okay, and usually in every query by example question, you are given this column. It's telling us to complete the query by example grid to display the genres with the overdue books. Only display, now here's the keyword, only display the ID, the genre name, the overdue fields in order of the number of books overdue from the largest to the smallest. So that last sentence gave you the useful information to fill this query table. So first it's telling us to only display the ID. So I'll write ID right here, the field. We have to also write the genre name. So we'll write the genre name. And only the overdue field. Okay, nothing else. And you can see the table will always be the same for this. It's all from the same table. And usually in computer science, you're only given from one table, so you don't have to worry. It's always usually the same. Now you can see it's telling us in order of the number of books overdue from the largest to the smallest. So here, overdue from the largest to the smallest. This means in descending order. So here when you write sort, it even gives you like everything proper, like in order of the books overdue from the largest to the smallest. So you write descending right here, and you have to show only ID, genre name, and overdue. So you show all of them. Okay, and the criteria, okay, in the criteria you can see is that it has to be greater than 0. Okay, the criteria has to be greater than 0. Okay, why is that? Because if you can see right here, it's telling us from the largest to the smallest. And if you go to the overdue place, you can see that we have so many zeros right here. We don't need those zeros, so we just need the largest to the smallest. Okay, and therefore that will mark the end of this question. Let's move on to the next. So here we have another example, and here it talks about that there is a database called plant, and it's used to record the plants sold by a nursery, and it has these following fields, and it seems to be 6 fields. So it has 6 fields. It's telling us that we have basically these different fields, and they have their different purposes. Like for example, the name will store the name of the plant. So it says the query by example grid has been completed to display only the, okay, so here's the keywords, only the price, the name, the number sold of the small plants that do not have flowers. So those are the keywords that we're looking at. Only the fields with price, name, number sold, and the one whether it's a flower or not. Okay, so let's see. Now it's telling us identify the errors in the query by example grid, and then we have to write the corrected query by example grid. Okay, so let's have a look at this. So first of all, it's telling us the table. If you can see, remember I told you the table one has to be written, it should be complete. So it should be plant here, plant, so on and so forth, but we'll do that in the corrected one, so not here. So that's the first one. So you can just say the table row not completed. Okay, that's the first one. It has not finished, and in all of them you must finish each and every one of them. The next one, if you guys if you saw, it's telling us that the size of the column, if you can, the size column, it's telling us that it should only be small plants. Okay, it should be only the small plants, because it's telling us number of sold of small plants, and here in the size it's not giving whether it's small, big, it's not. So it has forgotten the criteria of that. So you can say no criteria set in size column. And finally there must be another one, so that's one I've noticed. And let's see another one. It's telling us that do not flower. That's the one, do not flower, meaning it should be true or false in the flower column, and I don't seem to see anything in the criteria whether it's true or false. It should be false, right? Because it's saying do not flower, so meaning it should be here, do not flower, so that should be false. So we have found another one. So basically the trick to this question is just study the keywords in the question, and if it's not there, you just have to write it. So here you can say no criteria set in flower column. Okay, and now let's correct it. So the first one, the field and everything will be the same, so it'll be let's write it. The field will be name, price, number sold. So name, price, what's there, name, price, number sold, number sold, size, number sold, size, flower position, size, flower position. Okay, and the table will all be plant. So we'll just write plant, 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 and plant. Okay, the sort will be there was no sort, right? Yeah, there was no sort. We don't need to sort anything, and we have to only display the price, the name, and the number sold. So that was all correct. The price. Do we have to display the name? Sorry. Do we have to display the name? Yes, and the number sold. So name, number sold, and that seems to be it. Okay, and then the next thing, let's move on to the next, the criteria. So I said in the criteria, size has to be the size. It should be equal to small. And for flower plant, it was supposed to be false. You just have to write equals and this equals to false. And if it is basically a word, you have to write it in quotations. But false is a boolean, meaning you don't have to write it into quotations. And yeah, that seems to be it. Because we have completed each of them, so we are correct. So there you go, that will give you your 5 marks. So here is the next question, and in this question it is basically telling us that we have a database now called thread, okay, and it is used to store the details of the cars. The table has the fields to represent each car's license number. Okay, so let's just quickly rub this. This last sentence seems to be always important. The table has the fields to represent each car's license number. So license number, mileage, and the tread depth of each of its 4 tires. Each of its 4 tires. So it is telling us, suggest suitable name for each of the fields described. Okay, so remember, it's the last sentence that you have to always just focus on. Okay, and it's telling us the fields in particular, because it's already telling us that the table has fields to represent. So you just have to make logical, meanings of each of these sort of fields. So the first one, it's telling us that to represent the car's license number, so if it's the license number, then we can say maybe license, you can write license number like this, license number, or license NU, something like that. Any suitable one would be correct. Then you can say maybe mileage, that one can be the same. And remember, field name is always small, you don't have to make them really long. Then you can see it's for the 4 tires. You can see 4 tires, meaning we can write one for each of the tires. So tire right, tire left, then you can say tire back, maybe. Sorry, tire, you can write any of them, right? So tire back, tire front, so something like that should be logical, and you'll get your marks. It tells us complete the query by example. To display the cars where all 4 tires have a tread depth of less than 2, display all the fields using that I created on top. Okay, so we start with license, license number, then we have mileage, then we have tire left, tire right, tire back, tire front. Okay, the table is all thread, so just write thread in all of them. And this is the easiest field, right? You just have to sort of write thread all through. And I just want to explain that the way these marks are allocated is through columns, so the whole column has to be correct for you to get 1 mark. Okay, and here it's telling us it's all should be less, we have to show all of them. So show all of them. Okay, because it's written here, display all the fields right there, that's why I'm writing show all of them. And the criteria is that all the tires should be less than 2. So less than 2, less than 2, less than 2, and less than 2. And they'll give you marks for this, 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 and this. That'll give you that 4 marks for that. Okay, so so that will finish this question. Let's move on to, so here we have another question, and here it tells us we have a database called box, and it is used to record the boxes made and sold by a craftsman, and these boxes are categorized by the following fields. Okay, it's now telling us a database management system uses these data types: text, number, currency, and boolean, and we're basically supposed to use the most appropriate data type and then state the reason why we chose that. So basically, first of all, we have to look at the size data type. So this is a bit of a different sort of question. We have to look at data types. Okay, so we have these 4 data types. It's the most common data types that are usually tested, so you need to know each and every one of them. So let's begin. The first one we can say size data type. We start off with size, so we can write size, and the best one would be to use text. Okay, because in a size you're basically giving in a single word, meaning small, big, small, medium, large. Right here, studying this because it is in a text. That's why small, medium, large would be perfect. So you just write data is expressed in terms of words. Okay, the next one is shape. Okay, you can see a shape. Oops, sorry. And it's telling us shape is a brief description of what, for example, star shaped. So again, here we can use text because it is data is expressed in terms of words. Okay, that's why we just need text. The next one is wood. Again, we can use text again because it's telling us it is expressed in words. So data is expressed. Very simple question. You just have to be logical and you'll get the answer. The next one is price, but this is again now price in dollars, therefore we'll use currency. So price, you'll say currency, and the reason would be needs to be expressed in dollars. Okay, and then the last one, sold dot type, so you just write sold, and the reason, oh sorry, am I okay, sorry, this is supposed to be up here. I was wondering, this is supposed to be up here. Yeah, sorry, my bad. Okay, it's fine, whatever. And we can use for this one, it should be box is sold or not, so we can use true or false, so meaning boolean. So boolean, so let me just put that up, and you can say only 2 choices. You can write even true or false, and yeah, there you go. The next one is complete the query by example grid below to only display the price of small walnut boxes. Okay, so only the small walnut boxes. Okay, so let's go small. Okay, meaning we'll need size, so we'll just write size directly here. Then walnut, and walnut is in, as you can see right here, walnut is in the wood field, so we'll have to need wood. And finally boxes, so boxes will be, yeah, we don't need boxes, we need price, yeah, because we have price of, so we need price. Okay, so the table will all be the same, it's box. Okay, the sort, we don't have any sort, and we have to only display, you can see here, only display the price. So we only need the price, and the criteria is that we need a small size, and we need the wood to be only walnut. Okay, there you go. Simple marks right there. Simple 3 marks. And the last one is the query by example grid from part BI needs to be changed to show both walnut and beech boxes and display the wood used. So the field would be, of course, still wood because we're talking about wood. The table will still be box, and here you have to show, okay, because here it's telling us we have to show both walnut and beech boxes. So your criteria will be walnut or beech. Okay, that's the criteria. You can't put it in or because it's in a criteria. You can't say or because we need any of these to work. Okay, that's why it should be like that, and that should give you your marks, your 2 good marks. So that will mark the end of this query table video. Hopefully you found this very useful. I will be making more of these topic based questions so that you understand more in depth. And also I will be making a paper 2 full walkthrough soon, so stay tuned for that. Do subscribe, share it with your friends. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I'll see you in